Good evening, class, and welcome to this class. So today we'll be treating the questions. This is the last Saturday class for the batch 3 class. So we'll be treating the questions that we have. Please let me know if you can hear me properly, and so that I start the class. Let me know if you can hear me. Please put in the chat box. Let me know you can hear me. I'm clear. Please let me find if you can. I know you are with me right now. Please let me know if we can understand each other so that we start the class. Hello, if you are here with me, let me know you are with us right now in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Okay, fine, great. You are welcome, sir. So now we are going to start the class. Sometimes I could be very fast because my network might not. Okay, how our class has been going. So now question 1, I pick out the questions from the Telegram group. Question 1, what is the name of the foreign organization that you said is interested in helping and training farmers in Nigeria? This question was immediately after the last class, but I decided to leave it so that we attend it together. The organization is called Colihad. They used to be CP. I used to call them CP, but they changed to Colihad or Colid. So I put their info on the Telegram group. I pasted it this evening. Please kindly follow the link if you want to join. There are some of their Telegram groups or whatever. I'm a member of the Colliard since 2014. They do a lot in Nigeria. They do, please, I put a link to the next, they are having a meeting on there's going to be a meeting as in exposure to export markets and everything. And then if you know their page, you can follow them, but just use the link I posted on the Telegram group to get access to join the next batch of training that they have, next batch of Zoom class. They do practical, they do physical training too, as in they come to Nigeria. Even last week, there was a training that I had at Ibadan for a week, yes. Now, question 2, and concerning ginger cultivation, what plant can be crop rotated with it? You see, let me give you something. Once you plant ginger, it's difficult for ginger to finish on that spot of land, as in the roots of ginger stay very long in the soil. So once you plant ginger will keep growing in that your space. So most times we don't crop rotate with ginger. We just leave ginger alone. Ginger is highly, how do I say, it resists a lot of pests or disease by itself. So when you plant, if you plant ginger this year, it's usually stay about 8 months. By the time you harvest, by next year, once the rain starts or if you are giving it water, another set of ginger will come up there again. So most times, ginger is a repeated crop. You just need to give it manure, poultry waste or cattle dung or fertilizer to repeat, to change it. Question 3, which or when can one get trusted seed for planting? It's a very big question. You see, initially when I start planting, we try to divert. I don't want to use the other seed. I told you there's difference between the hybrid and the open and the normal seed. The normal seed, when you get to the market, the shapes are not really beautiful and people want the beautiful ones. Now the hybrid, there are plenty people or companies that are selling hybrid, but what I've discovered with them is as time goes on, you find out that you buy the hybrid but you don't get the same you don't get good result, even when you put every management study. Let me give you one example that I faced about 3 or 4 years ago. I've been buying East-West cucumber. Initially when they bring those seeds, the first batch, second batch are always extremely very good, but the subsequent batches are not good again, as in they don't produce the quality, they don't maintain the quality. Let me put it that way. I remember somebody bought me a cucumber seed somebody brought a cucumber seed from Thailand, cucumber tomatoes. I bought those seeds, the ones they are planting there exactly. Then the same company, their seed that they are selling to Nigerians, if you buy it and use the two, they will not give you the same result. The one that was meant for Thailand, even on the sachet, was written in Thailand. I cannot read it. It's only the picture that I used to buy the seeds. They will produce ×10 of the one that we are buying in Nigeria. That was when I don't believe in any seed again. So honestly, this is one major challenge we have in Nigeria. Seeds are not produced in Nigeria. Seeds are imported. Hybrid seeds, good seeds are imported. They are not produced in Nigeria. So unless you come, it's difficult. I've tried. See, when you start buying, when East West first came in 2014, their seed was the best. Quite expensive, but it's the best. But right now, as I'm speaking with you, it's still expensive, but it's not the best. There are plenty seed sellers. Most times in the northern part, they have access to bed seeds. And in the north, I think they said to them seedlings, as in some of the seed sellers, they will nurse it and sell seedlings to them, especially all those tomatoes they produce and every other thing. So to be candid with you, if it's before, I will quickly recommend and say, buy from this place. But honestly, at the end of the day, when you might get disappointed. So honestly, right now, I can't testify and say this is the best seed. Okay. Now, question 4. When is the best time to plant watermelon? Watermelon, see, every crop can be planted all year round, provided you have water. Irrigation, provided you have water, you can plant all year round. And the requirement for planting, the same requirement for planting cucumber goes for watermelon. The only difference they have is that you are not staking your watermelon, and your watermelon needs to be at 3-meter distance from each other. As in, you know, watermelon is a crawling crop, as in they will crawl and extend. And if you plant them too close to each other, they will join each other and module up and get destroyed. Yes, once the spacing is not enough, when they stretch and they meet each other, they will entangle and will not produce very well for you. So most times watermelons stay at 3-meter, 2-meter distance apart. And the same requirement for cucumber goes for watermelon. Okay. Question 5. Okay, no, I've answered it. Question 6. Is there any out there that can be used to ease the stress of perforating plastic mulch? Oh. Actually, what we do is perforate. Sometimes we use blade, we use scissors. It's very hectic. Perforating plastic mulch is quite a very hectic work. Sometimes we might do only 2 wraps per day. There are machines that do the perforation. There are machines that do perforation that you attach. There's a tractor video I posted on my timeline. Sorry, my Facebook timeline was pulled down by Facebook. I don't know what happened. I've not really been able to get back to them. So I've not been on Facebook for quite some time. So if not, the video is on my timeline, or you can just check on FarmVilla if it's going to bring it out. If FarmVilla may bring the video out, like there's a machine I posted that it's attached to a tractor, and it's perforates, it lays the mulching, it perforates, it lays plastic, it lays the drip tapes too. That's for mulching. But other than that, we do manual. At times we put milk tin. We attach a rod to milk tin, and then we use it to start punching it or so. It's very tedious, I won't lie to you. That's one challenge, but there's machines. There are machineries that do that, but we don't currently have them in Nigeria. No. Question 7? What is the ideal planting space for onion? Onions are planted at 7 to 10 centimeter distance, as in, it has to be very close, but not too close for them not to get big. So it's 10, I use 10 centimeter anyway, 10, as in I use 10 centimeter distance to plant my onion. Onions are planted at the maximum 10 centimeter distance from each other, as in both sides. 10 on the raised bed, you use 10 centimeter for planting onion. Question 8. Having in mind a favorable medium of growth for yam in a sack, how do we go about planting with gravel or stones in the middle? Sorry, for that video you watched, that is for vegetables. The sack farming is for vegetable farming. When you are planting yam, you don't need to use the middle, you don't need to use the stone and the middle, because the yam itself will be in the middle. The yam is a tuber crop. So you are planting tubers, root crops. What we mean by root crops are crops that are produced by the roots, like onion, potato. So you don't need to put the stone. You don't need to use the stone. We use the stone when you do vegetables like pepper, tomatoes, cucumbers, and all other ones that grow outside the soil. But for yam, you don't need to use the gravel system. Question 9. Is it ideal that an oven be used for farm produce that require drying? Yes, you can use it. I've done it with pepper sometimes ago and it will work perfectly. But you know, it has to be an oven that is regulated so that you know, so that it will not get burnt. If I tell you my experience, we went to use bread oven to dry pepper, and it was after they produced the bread, we allowed the heat to go down a bit, and quickly it's very fast, but it's not regulated, and it's kind of difficult to, I don't know, to know. My partner, my colleagues, the one he went back to do, our pepper got burnt. So yes, I think likened to tomato, does pepper also require pruning? Yes, pepper, no, yes, no, yeah, no. Pepper does not require pruning. You don't need to prune pepper. But it's tomatoes, because you want your tomato size to be very big. Pepper usually don't do that with, pepper don't have that scatter and that type of growth that tomato have. It will produce the exact size that is recommended for it. Every of the pepper will be the same size until they start reducing in their, as in, you know, pepper can stay 3 years, 2 years, pepper can stay 2 years, even sometimes 3 years. So the first year, the fruit will be big. The second year, it will reduce a bit. The third year, you might not get anything again, or it might be very, very low. Oh, and that's the end of the question. Please, do we have any other question outside that, or you want to ask from that question? So if you have a question, please let me have them. So please, if you have any other questions, some other questions you want to have, that's why I said since last week that we'll still have this class. Questions are still welcome, but after this, we will not have any questions again. Hello, please, do we have any question? I think I picked all the questions. I don't know, except anyone that comes after I've left I picked questions even this evening from the Telegram group. Please, please drop your question if there's question. Somebody is raising up hand. Please just drop the question. You don't need to put it in the chat box. You don't need to raise up hand. Okay. If we have question, please. Okay, we are good to go. So if there's no question, can we call it a day? I'm free now. Okay, there's a question popping up. Okay, 2 questions actually. When is the on-field training taking place? The on-field training is supposed to take place. For this section, we're supposed to have on-field training by December. But unfortunately, we don't have much people that showed interest. So we might shift it after the February training, as in some weeks to the start of harvesting, some weeks to the beginning of the new planting season. So the practical class might be February, yes, February or March. We don't have much people that showed interest in the practical class. Okay, I've answered that question. Now, how can someone raise funds for the farm? Big question, big question. See, when I wanted to start my own farm, I'm talking of 10 years ago, or 11 years ago, or 12 years ago, about around 2012, when I want to start my own farm. Maybe I was just a bit lucky. It didn't happen that way. I've had interest in farming, and I don't have money, and I don't even know how to start. So I just have interest and I want to farm. And I was on Naira Land. You know, there's this page called Naira Land. My name on Naira Land is Jethro2. So on Naira Land, I posted. I now went to Naira Land that day, you know, my kind of person. And I put it there. I said, look, guys, let's form a farmers cooperative. Let's join a farmers cooperative, and so that we can contribute and farm together. I don't know what happened. People started saying, okay, I'm interested. I say, okay. So I'm a practical person. I say, okay, if you know you are interested, let's meet at so place. You know, I don't have any plan. I don't have anything. And then by that Saturday, I now fix it. We are meeting. We are setting up. And for the first meeting, 10 people showed up. 10 people showed up. It was at Abeokuta. I fixed the meeting at Abeokuta. 10 people showed up. And that same day, we inaugurate a president, we choose the secretary, we choose the I was not the president. I told them I can't be president because I'm the one running around to run things. So I was the secretary. And that was how we started a cooperative. Eventually, my group members increased and we're up to like 120, 115. But unfortunately, nobody even have money to drop for the farm. Everybody is also looking for money like me. And we are looking for land, we are looking for money. I was the one running around for the two. Eventually, people that were not even in the group, that have never been to the meeting, eventually I got land in Oyo State, not Abeokuta. Imagine the group was in Abeokuta. We registered the name, I run around, we registered the cooperative in Abeokuta as of 2012. I got the cooperative registered, but unfortunately we don't even have money to start anything. But people that are not outside, that have been hearing, I always post our daily activities. I'll post it back on Naira Land, everything we're doing and everything. This is where we are. I went to social place. This is what I got. This is where we are. At the end of the day, people that were not on the group, two people, separate people that have never met me, they contributed money to that group. Late Dr. Dotun. Yeah, and one other guy. So they contributed money. And I told the group people, I told them, they chatted with me and I told them this is the intention and everything. And they contributed money. And I informed the group members. But unfortunately, people were like, that was how, actually, let me not go to it. That was how I started my farming. And that was what moved me to Oyo State. Because in Abeokuta, I realized, okay, these two people have dropped money, bulk money. They dropped 400,000 then. And some other people too dropped. And I look at it, when these people put down their money, will I just be looking at it? And we're looking for land in Ogun State, we could not get. So that was why I moved to Oyo State. And somebody offered me land actually and said, the land is in Oyo State. But I don't care wherever the land is, as long as, number one, the land is free, the person is offering me the land for free, and two, is in Oyo State. So I came here, I followed up the land, and that was why I stayed in Oyo State. But from the question you asked again, sorry, I just share my experience with you. It's not easy raising fund in nowadays, in today. You see, there are a lot of people that will tell you they want to give you money for farm, but they are expecting returns immediately. And see, if you have never used your own money, my advice, what I learned is it's better to start if you can have your own money, or you start something, or you have another way to raise funds, but not something that people are expecting returns. Because like those money put me into trouble. Yeah, they got me into trouble. Because when you collect money, at the end of the day, people are expecting returns in the next 12 months. And when me, as of then, me that started the farm, I don't even have any knowledge about the farm. So it's like I came to gamble. So I gamble with their money. So it's not advisable to, and if you're talking of bank, bank, I don't know, bank don't even give crop production money. So I don't know how you can raise money on the farm. I won't lie to you. Now, the other, except from friends and family, you can raise from friends and family. If you talk to your friends, people that are okay, they trust you, they know you, it's not that they're expecting their money next tomorrow or tomorrow. Even my stepmother contributed money for me to come when she was interested in what I was doing, and she dropped money. But of course now, where will she get her money back? I'm sorry, I'm just being sincere with you guys here. I'm telling you about 10, 12 years ago. Okay, the other question I have here is, aside wanting the public to know about how to farm properly, what has been your driving force, as in the inspiration that prompts you into dishing out these top-notch informations? Oh, okay. You see, when I came into the farm, there's this write-up. When you go on Naira Land or any agric forum, they will write and tell you how to quickly make money in farming, how to become millionaire, how to plant 1 acre of tomato and become a millionaire, all the write-ups are about making money quick on the farm. That was the same mentality I have. You asked me about my motivation. That was the same mentality I have. So when I called those people then and said, bring money, we'll plant cassava, I read then that when you plant cassava on 1 hectare, you will get 30 tons. And when you get 30 tons, by then, ex-president Obasanjo was encouraging people to plant cassava. So I was telling people that if you get 30 tons harvest, then we're selling, the calculation for selling is 18,000 as of then per ton. So 18,000 multiplied by 30, that's 540,000. So I look at it, if you plant 100 acres, 100 hectares, or like 50 hectares, this means a lot of money, imagine now. You know, so that was why I was asking people to bring money. Let's plant cassava. My initial first intention was I came to plant cassava, but I was expecting that after a year, I would get the money back. Unfortunately, when I got to the farm, my expectation, my paper quotation, even some of my group members, we sat down together to do the quotation, to do everything, and we were working with 18,000 per ton, 18,000 naira per ton multiplied by 30 tons per hectare. So it was a very good deal as of that time. Now, when I got to the farm, I discovered it was a different ball game. And I messed up. I lost a lot of fund. I know I've shared this so many times. I lost a lot of fund. But you know the funny thing? When I went back to my source where I was getting my information, that's the information of how to plant, how to make millions from cassava, I still see people writing the same thing right there. I was angry. You know, if you go to Naira Land, Jethro, until I start fighting them, because I fought a lot of people there. So I went there, I said, I now start, anyone that writes and said, you make 10 million from cassava, I will go there and say you are lying. It's not true. It's not true. Now you can, if you follow all the classes I did, it's not that you cannot achieve those things, but there are steps, there are things you need to do. And if you don't do it properly, you will not get results. But unfortunately, they will not tell you the steps in between. What they will just tell us is, okay, you make money, you make money. So when I got to the farm, see, my first challenge started with, I just gave money to people. I said, we'll plant. No, I don't know how to I don't even know if they are doing the right thing. I don't even know, you understand? So my planting was getting information from, it was disorganized. At the end of the day, my yield was not what I was expecting. Selling was a problem for me. Market, where's the market? This was a very huge problem. So I determined I don't want others to make the same mistakes I made. But unfortunately something, despite that I'm writing on my timeline saying, no, don't do this, don't do this. Some people will come and tell me that it's because you don't know how to do it. If you know you don't know how to do it, why don't you leave it? Why are you disturbing? Why are you discouraging people from farming? Shebi Obasanjo is farming. Shebi Kinikon is farming. That's what people tell me. But my purpose, my reason for telling others, to sharing my experience is that, look, this is what you can achieve. I did a lot of experiments. Most of the classes you read, nobody taught me. I learned on the farm. I will do this system. It will fail. I will lose all my money. I will start again. As in, okay, maybe it's because I didn't give it enough water. Let me increase the water next time. It takes a period. 3 months, 4 months before I get harvest. I will still find fault. Okay, I didn't do this very well. This is how I learned. I learned from experience. And I told you, my motivation is, let others, I keep telling people, no, let others not fall into the same challenges I fought to. And that was when I started sharing, putting these experiences into classes and say, okay, if I shared with some people, if they decide to listen, maybe they will not make the same mistake. I hope I answered that question. Okay, somebody say, Naira Land can sometimes be, in fact, I really fought on Naira Land. I was one of the but I don't even go there. I don't go there for a very long time. Thanks for being plain, ma. I've banked on several occasions. They let me down, whereas they are the one influenced me to register the company initially. Okay, if you are talking of bank, my experiences with bank were bad, very bad. Starting from agricultural bank, the Nigerian Bank of Agric. When I started, I told you I started 2012. No, I started farm since 2009. 2009, I called some of the guys, some of the people I know. I said, I read on, I was very gullible. Anything I read about newspapers or whatever, I so much believe it that, okay, it will work. I read that if you go to Bank of Agric, if you have farm, they will give you loan. You can use it to expand your farm. And I sincerely want to do a farm. So I called some people together. We contributed together. We registered at the Bank of Agric. We started a cassava farm. That was at Olorunshogo. Olorunshogo is somewhere near Mowe, Bafu. I was living at Mowe. I called some people. We were about 6 in the group. We started a farm. We go there. We planted cassava. We even went. The Bank of Agric then was at Shagamu. We went there. The bank officials, they came. When they, when they are coming, you pay for their transport. You take care of them, you settle them, you do this, you do that, and do that. At the end of the day, nothing, no, they didn't give us anything. We eventually abandoned the farm, or we don't have enough money to continue the farm. But the kind of person I am, I'm very passionate about Agric. That was when I started again. I start another, and you understand. So bank is a no-no for me. I've been to Bank of Industry at Lagos, Marina. The headquarters is at Marina in Lagos. They will give you form, give you this, give you enough stories. At the end of the day, unless you are well connected, I'm sorry to use that word. That's why I say you can raise funds from family, from friends, or somebody that can give you, but not banks in Nigeria. People that have access to banks loans have, okay, most times they will tell you maybe you use your house as collateral or whatever. If I have a house that is worth the kind of collateral they want in the city, why would I look for loan? I would sell the house and use it to fund my farm as of then. You know what I mean? So that's why it's difficult for farmers to get loan. Most of the people that have access to loan in Nigeria, they are not the real farmers. They are not even in the farming line. They just collect the loan for farming purpose and they use it for some other business. I won't lie to you. Okay, I don't have any question again. Okay, thanks for being plain. I've tried bank on several occasions. They let me down, whereas banks are not, I've just answered that. Banks are not, no. To be candid, I don't know. Sometimes when I write on my timeline and complain about banks, some people will come and meet me inbox and say, no, they got loan. But I know them that got the loan. They know they are not ordinary farmers like us. They are not, I've never benefited anything from government loan or any other thing or whatever. No, I'm just being sincere with you. But those people that claim they get loans or whatever, yes, they get the loan, but it's not so based on their crop production. It's not based on their lives. They have some other properties, or they have some other business, or they have the way they do it that the banks give them loan. Even if you register whatever, anything you register, even now, I'm at a stage, if you tell me there's a loan somewhere or whatever, I don't even respond. People will be sending me forms, grants. I don't fill them. I'm at that stage. I don't believe in them because I've run. There was a time I was so much interested running from here to here. The officials will just be collecting money from you. You settle this, you settle that, you pay this, you pay that. At the end of the day, you will not get the money. I know of somebody that collected about 900 million or whatever million. He said he used half of the money to settle. And they will see, you are still expected to pay back. And it's kind of, honestly. So in agriculture, in crop, in what I don't know of other businesses in Nigeria, farmers don't get loan. Farmers, if it's your real farm, you can't use your farm. Can we apply this course to processing of farm produce? That's a big question, ma. You see, processing is a different ball game. If you go through all these classes, you notice everything I did was production, as in planting, how to increase your yield, how to get more, how to go, when you are talking of processing, it means you need to stay there. Now, if you want to process pepper, I don't have the class and I've not really gone into processing so that you won't feel I'm marketing something to you. If you really want to process pepper, it has to start from harvest. You see, like the college I told you, if you want to get good market for all those things, you need to start from the plant, right? From the planting. But where you are sourcing it, where are you going to buy the raw material? For instance, you want to be processing pepper. It means you are going to set up a pack house. You're going to set up a processing factory, and you're going to buy the machineries that will be the one that will dry it, the one that will blend it, the one that will package it, and every other thing. Now, for you to do that, you need a source of raw material, which is already taking you back to the farm. If your farm is 10 acres of pepper, by the time you buy your machinery is supposed to produce at least 4 days in a week, 5 days in a week. If your machinery is supposed to produce 5 days in a week and you only have 10 acres of pepper, by the time you finish processing that your 10 acres of pepper, where will you get other raw material? So your processing needs to start from source of raw material, which is still from a farmer. So if you have network of farmers, great, processing is great for you. You can do processing. But if it is only what you plant on your own farm, I'm sorry, it might not be enough for your company. The same example, I just use pepper as example. The same thing happens. Let me use Dangote tomato factory in Kano. The factory was established in 2014. The factory, Dangote discovered that in Kano, there's a time that there used to be surplus tomatoes. And the surplus tomatoes, to the extent they'll be begging you to buy, they will throw a lot of it away. Then he set up a processing factory that can process about 250 million or billion as of then, in 2014. Now, he discovered, when he started the processing, he discovered that he can only have access to tomatoes in that surplus months. Surplus months is January, February, March. The other remaining months till December, the machines are redundant, they can't produce. Now, put it this way, you have staff, you have to pay them monthly. You can't pay them 3 months and tell them to go home and come back next year, 3 months again. You have security, you have cleaner, you have this, you have whatever. Even in your small company, you have security, you have somebody that is sweeping, you have packer, you have secretary, you have clerk, so all these people are collecting salary every month. Meanwhile, your processing is limited to just 3 months or 4 months. So these are the things, if you are going into processing, you need to sit down and understand the process. Okay, I want to process yam into yam flour. Will I get raw material all year round? Then, value addition gives, people always say value addition gives more money, but it means you are committing more. You are committing a lot. That's why most people don't go into value addition. Farming is the easiest to venture into, but value addition, you need somebody really on the farm or that would like to understand the system. Okay, you want to process pepper. This and this and this and this and this and this are what you need to put into places. I know somebody presently in Lagos now. He want to be processing fufu, but he initially was telling me he want me to be getting raw fufu and process for him. But I have my own personal interest. My interest is not processing fufu. So assuming there are people in my locality that are processing and selling, I will just link her up. But there's nothing like that in my locality. They only do gari. So I'm not interested in processing fufu because I have my own work to do. You see, I've learned I don't take every kind of business or every kind of work. As long as it's my own purpose, I don't have interest in processing fufu and converting, So I told her, no, she should get. So presently she's buying, but she's not okay with where she's buying. So I'm just using these things as examples for you to understand how processing works. Your source of raw material will still trace it back to the farm. Then sometimes you might need to store your raw materials. So if you are processing, you should look also at perishable and non-perishable. For instance, people that are processing feed, animal feed, livestock feed, what they do now, this is the season of selling soya beans, maize, they stock up. They know harvesting is just once in a year. So those companies, they stock up they buy plenty at this period when it's less and when it's available. They buy plenty maize, they buy plenty soya beans, they store it. No, those are non-perishable things. They can easily preserve it. But for you that want to process pepper or things that are perishable, you need to consider before you do that. I hope I answered that question. I give some similar example. Now, somebody said, what are the requirements to participate in the on-field training? I yearn to be on the field. Now, see, if you are for the on-field training, before we started the online training, the on-field training used to be 3 months, as in practical 3 months. People come to Ago Amodu, they come to my farm here, they stay 3 months, as in you have to stay 3 months to learn. We go to farm together, we give you practical work. You go to farm every day. except Monday to Friday, or even Monday to Saturday. Sometimes we give you 3 days, you have weekend, then we do a lot of practicals, as in practice all those things. Now, you know, those periods you are coming here means we have to expose you to planting all type of crops, all this pepper, tomato, whatever, all these types of crops. Like, so we are going to put it through a very tedious work. You are still going to pay for training. You know, it's a practical class this time around. We provide you accommodation for the 3 months. We provide you accommodation, but you are going to feed yourself. We don't feed. We provide you accommodation. Okay, somebody said, thanks for the training. You are welcome, sir. So for the field training, and you see, initially, we usually take like, we normally have even 10, 15, 20 participants at a time. But of recent, like everybody wants just online class. But I still maintain, you need to practice something you've learned online. You need to practice something you've learned online on the farm to be sure, okay, let me use somebody's experience to practice on the farm. So the practical training, well, if we get, maybe I'll put more into it. A lot of people have been asking me, are we going to do practical? When are we going to do the practical? We normally do it like just the way the online training is 4 times in a year. We do the practical training, but of recent, people don't show much interest in the practical club. But you know, me, I'm always on the farm. But it's easier for me when we have collective people at the same time. It means I know throughout that 3 months, I know I'm not going anywhere. I'm not fixing any other business or any other outside job for me to attend to my student. So I hope I'd answer your question. And then because you have attended the online class, so you can easily join because I make sure the online class is a prerequisite for the because when you come now, the ideas, things you've learned online, you are coming here to practice them with us on the farm. We are coming here to do it together. So it's easy for you to really adapt to the farm system rather than somebody that is just coming fresh, nothing, no idea, he doesn't have anything, and it's just coming fresh. Okay. Connection failed during your explanation of processing. Oh my God. Yes, it's being recorded. The class is recorded, ma. So, so I'm going to definitely, somebody say you have castor seed. Castor seed, you know, the castor seed there are castor seed in my place, but you know, there are hybrid castor seed and there are local castor seed. There's hybrid castor seed and there's local castor seed. In my place, castor seed grow by themselves. The local one, the indigenized one, grow by themselves. We don't plant it. I remember there was a time I planted them on my farm. I have to start begging people to help me move them. Once you plant them once and it's grow and it's half seed, it will always keep growing. It will take over your farm. There was a time I used them as I planted them. I have to start begging people to help me remove it. They become a big tree. So castor seed in my place grow by themselves. Nobody plants them. There was a time some people came and said they are hybrid. They will buy it back and everything. Most people plant, farmers plant. I did not plant because a lot of farmers planted. At the end of the day, they did not come to buy it. And so since then, they have to uproot and throw them away. So since then, so it's difficult now to make people buy. It's difficult now for people in my place to, when people come from outside and say, oh, this is what I have for you. We don't welcome them again because we know at the end of the day, they will not come back for the market. And market is very, very important to farmer. Okay. Okay, somebody said, any idea of how to get knowledge on processing? Now, okay, like the processing you talk of, ma, you know, if we want to talk about processing now, it means whether which crop do you want to process? Let me start from there. Which crop do you want to process? Which crop are you looking at processing of? Which crop are you looking at processing? I've never looked into processing. I won't lie to you. I've never bothered myself about it. But like the only one I'm working on presently is coconuts. Okay. Okay, so firstly, ideas. Okay, you want to first have idea of the processing. How long, now there's another question. How long does the native castor ones grow to maturity? Castor grow very fast. I did not take note of the month, but it grows very fast. If you plant it at the beginning of rainy season, by the end of that rainy season, you have seed. I think about 6 or 7 months, you have seed. And by the coming year, it quickly turns to tree. It is very fast. Castor grow very fast. Now, you said ideas. Let me start with this, ma. If you want to have ideas of processing, like in these 30 days we've been learning, you find out we've learned several crops, but we've not really covered all the crops. We picked tomatoes, we didn't discuss watermelon, we did not we discussed cucumber, we did not, despite that, you find out that, okay, you've learned a lot in the 30 days, but still, there are still plenty crop. We did not talk about sweet potato, we did not talk about melon, we did not talk about okra, we did not talk, there are still plenty crops. So when you say you want to have an idea about processing, it has to be a specific crop, like now, for instance, the way they process pepper is different from the way they process tomatoes. Despite that, they are closely related, very related. The way tomato will be packaged, tomato is highly, highly perishable. It's not the same way you package cucumber. The processing of coconut is different from the processing involved in cashew. The processing of cashew is different from the processing of lemon, So when you want to have an idea of the processing means, it's going to be a general, it's not going to be, you may not get that. Okay, I want to learn about coconut. Then okay, or somebody can say, okay, see, I know much about coconut processing. I can put it into a class for you to learn. Or is it cashew you want to learn about the processing of cashew? For instance, when you're talking of processing in coconut can be processed into so many things. One, it can be processed into bags. It can be processed into bags. They can use the husk. The bags of coconut can be used for bags. It can be used for these jute bags, that food grade bag that they use. It can be used for a lot of things. The shell can be used for briquettes, which is an export product. Briquettes. It can be used for activated charcoal, so many other things like that. So you can process into coconut oil. Process of coconut oil in one product, coconut, you can process into 4 or 5 things, and the processes are different. The machineries you will use for the 5 things, just one plant, are different. Coconut can be processed into, you need a machine to process into coconut oil. You need another machine to process into coconut milk. You need another machine to process, So these are processing. So now if you say, okay, I want to learn about coconut, it means, okay, which part of coconut? Somebody may decide and say, okay, let me put a class for you on coconut processing. How did they process the milk? The milk from processing, from sourcing to marketing to distribution. Okay, is this coconut oil? Okay, how do they process it? The machinery is involved. It's another line entirely. The same thing with the husk, another line entirely. For instance, there is a colleague of mine presently in Shaki. He has a farm that has about 10,000 cashew trees, and he's also planting coconut like me. We discussed about last week, and he told me he wants to bring coconut processing. And I said, that's fine, because I have a group. We are already planting coconuts, and we're working on the processing. And the processing is going to be almost in five different areas. Now, that's just coconut. Now, if I'm going to take another one again, you just pick another crop again, maybe palm tree. You find out that palm tree can be processed into red oil, and it also have palm kernel oil, which is the vegetable oil. So you see the processing again, that's another 2 processing, just palm tree. So if somebody is just giving you can't have general idea on processing. You have to be, okay, this is the crop I want, or that's the crop I want, or this is the crop, and it has to start, please always note, from your raw material. Like, I remember somebody that called me that time, he was disturbed because he invested so much in gari processing, and at the end of the day, he found out they could not sell the gari. His brother just told me that he's outside the country, but his brothers were in Nigeria, and they told him that everybody eats gari, everybody eats gari, that kind of mentality, that gari, everybody buy gari every day. So he invested so much in gari processing. At the end of the day, they process, yes, but they could not sell. So when you are talking of that processing, you need to talk of marketing. Anyone that is telling you about processing, please, they have to emphasize on the marketing and not just quote and quote things for you. They need to give you an example. How do you market it? How will you go about it? How will you sell it? That's one of the major issues of every other thing. So I still have a question here to check. How do we use a raised bed with a plastic mulch where an onion was previously planted to plant corn, since the planting space for onion is 10 centimeter, while that of corn is 25 to 30 centimeter? Now, see, the same mulching film you use for onion, you cannot use it for, if you are using plastic mulch, you cannot use the same plastic mulch for onion and use it again for the other, like tomato or the other crops that you want to plant. No, you have to perforate another one. The only thing you can do is that your onion will always be for onion. You can't use it for corn because the spacings are different. You can't use the spacings are different. Let me give you an example. The drip tapes. You know, on my farm, I use drip tapes. Those things that we use to get water to the farm. If you are using, like I use 30 centimeter drip tapes for my corn, cucumber, and every other crop. Now for onions, you need to use 10 centimeter. There are 10 centimeter drip tapes. So that 10 centimeter drip tapes we're using for onion, we cannot use it for corn, because if we use it for corn, we'll be wasting plenty water. You know, it's perforated at 10 centimeter, while the one for corn is perforated at 30 centimeter. So those two spaces in between the 30 centimeter, you know, from 130, if it's 10, it means you have 3 before you get to the next 30. So those two will be wasting your water. So we don't use the same tapes for onion and for corn. So it's the same way. You cannot use the same mulch for onion, for corn. You either know I'm an onion farmer. If you want to rotate, you still need to, you either move you can't use the same mulch on the same space. You either differentiate it. Okay. I'm still waiting for questions. Okay, you did excellently well. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm still waiting. If you still have questions, I will attend to them. I told you my learning was experimental, as in my learning was real experimental. I will do this is until when I've gotten results. Sometimes I've planted about 2 acres of tomatoes and I did not get anything. You know why? The tomatoes were doing well at the beginning, but I was rationing water. As in, it was a dry season tomatoes. I was rationing water, as in, I don't know how to measure the depth by which my water should be, the quantity of water to give my crop. So I'll just open one tank, half tank. I will give this 10 rows. I'll close it once that half tank is finished. I'll move to another one. I did not understand that water needs to touch the roots. And you know, it's not just the base of the root, the last part of the roots, because it's that last part of the root that absorbs water that you now get to your plants. So if that last part did not absorb water, eventually the crop will die. I was crying. I sat down on the farm and I was crying when the crops were dying. Not once, not twice did I experience such. Sometimes with plants and pests, we finish everything. So I learned, okay, you need to do pest control regularly. And you also, you know, so like I told you, I do a lot of experiment. I learned expensively. That's why I could share some of the intrinsic information with you. These are personal experience for me. Thank you for the information, ma. You're welcome, sir. Do we get discount for consultation for attending your training? Definitely, ma. Definitely. And like somebody asked the other time, the class is there. See, the videos are permanently there, except I remove them, which I don't have the intention of doing that. So you can go back to them when you misunderstand something or you don't know. You can always just check them. I'm not removing them. You can go back to them anytime. Like some of the classes I attended, I also attend classes. Yes, I attend because I was looking for, to be candid with you, I was looking for a way to, initially, I don't believe in online. I do purely practical and I don't do anything online and I don't even want to hear about it. But I discovered, you know, my first time when I started my practical classes, as in people come to my farm here, I used to have plenty students. Sometimes I have 30 students, 20 students. Gradually, people start complaining, and they don't have time to come and stay on the farm. They don't do this. It was then I started learning how to do online courses. I'm just being sincere with you. I don't do online before. I do practical. I said, no, you have to learn on the farm. You have to be on the farm. So that was when I started learning all this recording, all this, okay, let me share my experience, So I discovered people prefer the online than but I still maintain it. It's good. The online is an eye-opening for you. You understand, oh, there are basic things you need to do, but still it's good if you can have space or time. But I understand most of us might not have the time. For those of us that don't have the time, with the classes now, you have idea. It's not that one farm manager will come and be telling you miracle. I'll be telling you skip this or skip that. You have idea to, okay, no, please do this on the farm for me. Not you'll be asking questions just the way I was doing when I came. And if you ask 10 people, they will give you 10 different answers. And maybe none of the answers were correct. So it's good for you to attend the class. So when something is confusing, you can go back to the class. Okay, what did they even say when we are doing this or whatever? And so it's good online. So it was then I started doing online classes, doing courses and everything. And I felt, let me share this with people. If you can go through them or whatever, like what I will still do, I'll still do some of the courses I've never done before, the ones I didn't bother to do. I will just bring them up again, make them into classes and see, because there's a lot to learn. But you need to, even if you cannot come to practical training with me, in your backyard, or if you're in a bucket, or you have some space, you can try like 2 tomatoes. But see, one thing about this thing is, guys, if you try 3 tomatoes, you know that the attention you give to those tomatoes are more than when you try it on a feed. So sometimes it might not be too comparable, but at least you learn the basic steps, you learn the stages. Because some people say, I planted 10 tomatoes, they did very well, then they will go and start 10 acres of farm. You find out you cannot maintain it. So you gradually, you can practice at your own house. As if you have a small backyard, or if you can do a plastic bag, a bag planting, just try some and say, okay, let me even try. So that even if you're not going to the farm, you might have somebody to watch over it for you. Check it for me. Okay, do this for me. They will know, okay, oh, they can't just model everything for you, because they know you have idea and you know what we're talking about. Okay, so do we still have, if you have questions, let's still have our questions. Since we're at the end, if you have questions, I'll attend to them. If you have questions, I'll attend to them. Then the class is being recorded as usual. So I'm going to, once we finish the class now, I'll post it in the Telegram group again, so that we can, for some of them, for us that miss it, we can watch it over again. So please, do we have more questions? If there's no question, I'll be calling it a day. So I'll still wait like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, there are questions now. I'm going to miss your daily food. Okay, no. Okay. Don't worry. If you still have concern, you can drop it in the Telegram group. I will attend to it. But sometimes I may not be there 24 hours. I'm sorry. I will, so if you have some questions in what we've done, please, you can still drop it in the Telegram group. I will attend to them. It may not be immediately, but I will definitely attend to them, because that's one advantage of being in the class. If you still have questions, you can drop it in the Telegram group. But I may not bring it to Zoom class again. I'll just attend to them in the Telegram group as per when you, okay. I'm going to miss your daily foods. Likewise there, you are welcome. Okay, there's no question. So you are welcome. So we'll call it a day, and thank you for joining the class. You are highly welcome. And I hope when you're starting your farm, you put all these things in mind, and so that you can get a better result. But please don't still go for 10 acres at a time or 10 hectares at a time. Please don't do that. Maybe start with 1 acre, practice with 2 acres. Don't even practice with 2 acres. Start with 1. No, start with 1 acre, please. You see, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, even when you have all the results. But so agriculture is, you can't control rainfall, you can't control the sun, you can only work to some extent to reduce their effects, but you have no complete power over them. You understand what somebody said 10 acres bow? Yes, that's what people do. Say, I've started. So please, 1 acre. Sometimes I even tell people start with quarter acre, start with quarter, then increase to 1. Then it's a kind of gradual growing up, because things can change, anything can happen. Climate change is real, very real. For my place now, we've never had rainfall in November, but this last November, we have about 2 times or 3 times of rainfall, which is quite unusual. We've never had. By November in this place before, we are already having cloud, and this, when we wake up in the morning, you will see Amatan whitish and very cold. Right now it's very hot, so there's a lot of climate change. There's never, even I learned in Abeokuta, there was rainfall, rain doesn't fall in November, December before, but right now in November this year we have about 3 rainfall, and that's the effect of climate change. So please, you need to watch it. Yes, the climate change is changing a lot of things about agriculture. So if you're even practicing, take it step by step. Okay, so you are welcome, sir. You're welcome, ma. So we have the class in the general group. Okay, somebody said we don't have dry season in rivers, so it's still raining now. We don't. Oh, and you don't farm. Oh, I think with this eye-opening information, what would you want to gamble with this overhead? Exactly. Okay, okay, you don't have dry season in yeah, I know river, that's Port Harcourt. I serve in Huyo. I know that you have more rain than us here. So in your area, then, since you don't have dry season, you should look for crops that loves water very well, so that you can, those are the things you should consider. Those are the things you need to consider in your side, things that loves water, because sometimes if you plant some crops and they have in waterlogged area, they will not do very well. So you might consider things that have water, that love crops that can do very well when even there's rainfall. And the questions, I think with this eye-opening information, so one wouldn't want to gamble with his or her hard-earned money. Exactly. Let me briefly give you this example, since I've not caught this. You do know, some times ago, I wrote on my timeline and said, I wrote something about plantain and said plantain is not that profitable, and a lot of people come and say no, it's not true, what you are writing is not true and everything, and I just kept quiet. Sometimes what I do when they do that is that I don't respond, or I just hide that comment. You know why they do that? Because they're looking for people that will come and consult and pay for, and then okay, presently in my place, there's a woman I said don't plant, but they just planted a plantain by September. If not for the true rains I told you fall in November, there might not be rain again. And we know that those plantain cannot survive. They just planted 1,200 plantain for her, as in 1,200 suckers they planted, and they are, because we know by January, February, even if rain is going to fall, it cannot survive those plantain. You understand? So far on that farm, she has spent almost getting to 2 million, but she's not going to get 2 naira. She's not even going to get, yes, I'm being sincere. And I know from the beginning, I warned her. But there are some consultants outside. Those guys are in Lagos. They are managing the farm for her in Agua here. And again, they brought these boys from outside, and they kept the boys here. The boys leave the woman's farm. They are working for some other people, as in they are doing daily job for some other people, and they are collecting salary from her. You see, so most people will not tell you the truth because they are looking for consultancy fee or they are whatever. So I told people, if you watch any of these videos, I'm sharing my practical experience. These things are feasible, you can get results, but you have to be cautious about it. Don't just say, I will do 10 acre. I will, when you are cautioning people, they will say, no, I want to do 10 acre because you told them in tomato 1 acre, you can make 2 million. So they just multiplication effect, and then at the end of the day they run at a loss. And that's why you see a lot of people come in and they run back immediately. And that's why some of us, we are doing small farms, but we are getting on the farm because I've learned my experience. Like I told you, I learned expensively with my trial and error stuff, and that's what kept me on the farm. Okay, somebody said, please, God bless you, ma. Merry Christmas in advance. Same to you, sir. Somebody said, please, what can you say about the cultivation of sesame? See, before you cultivate anything, the first thing is market. Last year, I planted sesame. At the end of the day, though I did not look for market, I'm just being sincere with you, because when I went to Burkina Faso last year, I brought in sesame seed and I planted it, and it did very well. And I harvested and kept it at home. Eventually, I give it to my boys. They use it to, I told them they hate it anyway. They use it in their own place. They use it to cook or whatever. I don't know what they use it to do. I give it to my farm workers. So the first thing, like they're saying in my community here, they don't plant sesame. But I know in Kogi State, Kogi area, they plant it a lot and they eat it there. So the first thing you should first consider before, okay, the first thing you should first consider before you plant the sesame is your market. Is the market close to you? Imagine if I plant in Nagua Mojo here and I have to move it to Kogi side before I can sell it at a good price. It's discouraging. So that's why I did not bother to replant again this year. I'm just being sincere. So sometimes where the market is very important for you. I learned they sell it expensively around Kogi area because those are the people that eat it much. Kogi, Benue, they eat it well in that area, so it's expensive. But in my own local area, we don't even plant it. But when I planted, because it's just only me that planted, so imagine me sending it down to Kogi State or traveling or looking for, then all the money I will have made will have gotten lost in transport. So, okay, the other question said, advice on how to compile the courses together. Okay, the courses you did now, oh my, for you to compile it together, I mean, they're on a classroom, they're on the classroom there, and they will always be there, except you can copy the link and bring it to your mail, personal mail, as in you see those links there. But each day you go to the class, you always see there. But if you want to bring it to your mail, it means you have to copy them together and bring it to your mail, to your personal mail. But I'm not, like I said, it's always permanent there. I'm not removing them. I'm already, by 4 people are already paying for class. The next class is in February. Though I'm trying to add, before that, I want to create some other classes, especially for some of the topics that people ask me. I want to add some of the, I want to create some of the classes and sit down and do some classes so that some other crops, there are plenty crops, plenty. Okay, I got some fellow attacked you when you wrote on your timeline that pawpaw is not that profitable. Exactly. So, and when I write, sorry to say this, when I write, I'm sharing from my personal experience. I've planted pawpaw, dwarf pawpaw, and at the end of the day, I shared. As in, dash people, you'll be begging people to come and eat it. But meanwhile, you see them, they will tell you, if you plant pawpaw, one would be 100. And somebody did one calculation on my timeline. I actually blocked him. I removed him. He did some calculation. And in that calculation, he was sharing, if you plant pawpaw, you cannot spend more than 1,000 to plant a tree. Then a tree, you harvest, you sell 100. He just did some calculation about transport. At the end of the day, it's not, you will throw away a lot of them. See, my community here, sometimes when I plant things and I cannot sell them, I dash. There was a time I planted cabbage. Plenty cabbages. When people, cabbage, you sell, you make money, my 12, whatever. At the end of the day, I started begging people to come and harvest it. So several cases like that. So you really need to be, when you are planting things, you need to be very sure you have the market, especially perishable things. It's better you keep away from them. In Nigeria markets, anything perishable, when I mean perishable, things that quickly get bad, please, you should keep away from them if you can. It's funny how some people prefer to lend it. Yes, they want to lend it. There's a woman that should be about 6 or 7 years ago. She called me. She wanted to plant. Cucumber. I wrote about cucumber and she said she wants to plant cucumber. And she called me. I spoke to her on the phone more than 30 minutes, discouraging her that she needs to learn before she plants. She said no, she will plant. She has listened to Kiniko. She just decided she's good. I wonder, 2 years later, I wrote on my timeline that I used to tell a lot of people that I know there's several people I used to warn and said, don't plant this. Take your time, learn it first, understand the market before you plant. And they will say, no, they will go and plant. I said, well, I know most of them will be remembering me now, or they will be regretting it. It's just that they may not be able to come and tell me. Do you know that woman wrote out on my timeline that I'm one of them? She put it out that day and said, I am one of the people you want. And she told me, she wrote it on the timeline, not that she called, she didn't call me personally again. She wrote it on my timeline that if I still remember, I spoke with you because she shared her experience with me, and I told her, no, you need to learn first, understand it before you plan. Because what happened with her was that she called a group together and they gave her money. And she said they should plant ugu. You know, people will always tell you when you plant ugu, you make 10 million naira from 1 acre in dry season. It's a lie. Oh. So that woman planted ugu. She collected cooperative money and she planted ugu. And the ugu, of course, now definitely she won't get anything. Once she has not practiced before, she didn't learn, she didn't understand how to plant it. So when she lost that money, she was trying to recover those money back for the owners. And so she was in dire need of money. So the last money on her, the fund, she now said she wants to use it for cucumber. She quickly planned 40 days harvest. I told her no, that she should tell those people to be patient for her. She should sit down, plan very well. She said no, she must plant. Eventually, I don't know her, and I didn't bother to keep her number. She planted, but that day when she now sent on my timeline, she said, did I remember? And she shared that. She said she lost a marriage to that because she in depth, not because one, she has not learned how to plant. She has never planted cucumber before, but because people were saying it's 40 days, it's kinika. So she wanted me to convert, and I told her, yes, it's true. But sometimes, if you don't, not even sometimes, if you have never planted before, don't attempt on a large scale. Do some experiment, plant small size before, learn. She just said no, she must plant. She planted and she lose more money. And she said she lost her marriage due to that effect because she was highly indebted. So I'm just, there's lots of experience like that. But, when you start coming people, I said, no, even if you have money, the knowledge first, then market, I keep screaming, market, is very important. Market, most of us like this. If I don't want to be frank, I can start telling you how much I'm making billions, how much I'm selling, and everybody will start rushing to go and farm. At the end of the day, they will lose money. We find out that most of the people in my city that started with me, most of them are now selling seed. They are selling, as in, they are now seed seller. They sell seed, they buy seed. Seed, you make your money. People make money in seed. I buy seed 1,000, I'm selling 2,000. I've made my money. So I don't care whether the farmer is losing or not. But I told them I'm not selling any seed. I still prefer to share my experience with farmers. I still prefer, like the coconuts I'm doing, I'm also planting as I'm sharing with people. I'm planting. Like on my farm now, I've established about 400 coconuts. And I still plan to expand. I'm just fixing my irrigation. Once I finish all the complete irrigation, I'll plant more. I'm planting 3 crops, but as I'm planting, I'm also sharing, and I'm also working on market for it. Like, that's why I told you I met with a colleague about 4 or 5 days ago. He doesn't stay in Nigeria, but he came around. He already established a big farm, and we were discussing, he's planning to bring the processing, whatever, so that these are the things I do. Since I'm encouraging people to plant, I'm also working already on the networking, on the marketing for everyone that plant along with me, because I know I'm planting, I need a market, but only my produce cannot meet up with cannot supply a company. So I need other people to join me to supply. That's why I do the coconuts. I did 3 crops, the coconut issue. But I tell others, I've been in plant and vegetables all years, and these are the experience I have there. So I hope you learned a lot from the class, and I hope you are going to take some of them into perspective when you are starting your own farm. So you are highly welcome. Glad the class is still recorded before the questions come. So do we still have any other questions since this is our last Saturday meeting? Do we still have any other question? If there is, I will still attend to them. But if there's none, then we can call it a day. Okay, so you are welcome, sir. Oh. Okay, so I can end the class now.